In this video, we will conduct a detailed investigation into the issue of overtourism in Kyoto as of April 30, 2025, focusing particularly on the current situation where tourists sit around residential areas and shops, engaging in activities such as eating, drinking, smoking, and littering. Additionally, we will explain from the perspectives of cultural anthropology and sociology why foreign tourists commonly sit on the ground, and the cultural background as to why Japanese people do not sit directly on the ground. In the morning, we will base our discussion on the latest news article X, Tourism Etiquette Guides, and provide a clear explanation that is easy for beginners to understand. Hello! This time, we will explain the issue of overtourism in Kyoto and why foreign visitors to Japan commonly sit on the ground, which is considered unclean in Japan. If you find this video interesting, please give it a like. Please also consider subscribing to the channel. We have included related links in the description box, so be sure to check them out. The current state of overtourism in Kyoto. Kyoto is a leading tourist destination in Japan, attracting tens of millions of visitors annually. However, as of April 30, 2025, the problems caused by overtourism have become increasingly severe. In particular, tourists sitting around residential areas and shops, making noise, eating, drinking, smoking, and leaving behind trash are significantly disrupting the lives of local residents. Specific examples: in the alleys of Gion, harassment of local residents and property damage by tourists have become issues. Measures to prohibit tourist entry have been implemented since March 2024. These measures are still in effect in 2025. A post on X from April 27, 2025 shows tourists sitting in front of houses, taking photos, and eating while walking. Issues such as littering of cigarette butts and leaving food waste have also been pointed out, especially during the Golden Week period. Another post on X, from April 25, 2025, expresses dissatisfaction with tourists sitting in residential areas, making it difficult to pass through the narrow streets and leaving trash behind. An official post from the city of Kyoto on X, dated April 20, 2025, addresses the issue of sitting in residential and shopping areas. They are urging people to refrain from eating, drinking, and smoking, but the effectiveness seems limited. Regarding the limitations of measures, the new mayor has proposed a plan to make public transportation fares cheaper for residents, and more expensive for tourists, but this requires a legal amendment and is expected to take time to implement. Additionally, the entry ban in Gion is limited to certain areas. It has not led to a citywide resolution of the problem. Effective background research indicates that in Western cultures, sitting on the ground is socially accepted. For example, in parks and events, it is common to sit on grass or paved ground, and the awareness of cleanliness is not as high as in Japan. On the other hand, in Japan, to maintain the cleanliness of public spaces, sitting directly on the ground is avoided. It is recommended to sit in designated areas such as benches or specific zones in parks. Tourists often bring their customs from their home countries, and sitting on the ground in residential and shopping areas in Kyoto has become an issue. Especially in tourist spots where seating is scarce, tourists tend to sit on the ground, which disrupts the lives of local residents. Why don't Japanese people sit directly on the ground? What are the reasons Japanese people avoid sitting directly on the ground? This is deeply rooted in cultural values and manners. Awareness of cleanliness is highly emphasized in Japan, especially in public spaces. The ground is considered outside, and therefore seen as dirty, so sitting directly on it is avoided. In urban areas, it is common to sit in designated areas like benches or parks. Manners and privacy are also important. In residential and shopping areas, sitting on the ground is avoided to not obstruct activities and to respect the privacy of nearby residents. Is considered inappropriate. There are also comments on social media about how narrow the roads are, making it difficult to pass, which is seen as a problem. Traditional indoor culture traditionally involves sitting on tatami mats or cushions indoors, with sitting styles like seiza or cross-legged being culturally established. However, this is limited to indoors, and different manners apply in public spaces. Cultural gap and its impact. There is a cultural gap between foreign tourists and Japanese people regarding the act of sitting on the ground. This gap is increasing the impact tourists have on the lives of local residents. For example, Social media posts point out that tourists seek the Kyoto-like atmosphere, but are indifferent to the lives of locals, and this indifference is said to be worsening the problem. The importance of tourist etiquette guides. Etiquette guides for tourists emphasize manners in public spaces. For example, while it is advised to avoid eating while walking and to sit on benches or in parks, there is often little clear mention about sitting on the ground. As a result, there are many cases where tourists unknowingly break etiquette. Solutions and prospects. To solve this problem, it is essential to conduct awareness activities for tourists. The city of Kyoto is officially issuing warnings. More specific guidelines and stricter penalties may be necessary. Additionally, cultural understanding workshops for tourists and information dissemination on X and other social media platforms are also effective. Voices of local residents. Posts on X reveal strong dissatisfaction among local residents, with many calling for stronger measures. Policies that reflect these voices are needed. Impact on the tourism industry. On the other hand, tourism is an important part of Kyoto's economy, and completely excluding tourists is not realistic. New tourism management measures are being explored to strike a balance. As of April 30, 2025, the issue of overtourism in Kyoto remains serious, with tourist misconduct affecting the lives of local residents. Foreign tourists sitting on the ground is due to cultural differences, with differences in awareness of cleanliness and manners between Japanese people and others as the background. To bridge this gap, educating tourists and fostering cooperation with local residents is important. In this video, we will conduct a detailed investigation into the issue of overtourism in Kyoto as of